Brought to you by Alman Auctions, the worldwide leader in antique tractor auctions.
Sonny Beck of Atlanta, Indiana is the owner of this bright red 1938 Farmall F20. This classic heirloom was previously owned by both his father and grandfather.
My fondest memories of this tractor are when I was 5 years old. It was the first tractor I learned to drive by myself.
Sonny needed 2-inch blocks on the pedals to operate this tractor at 5 years old. He now takes pride in knowing his F20 helped build the seed company that still exists on his family's land today.
The tractor took on extra meaning because it happened to be purchased in 1937 when my father and grandfather also started the hybrid seed company.
It's not only a restored tractor, but it's got a lot of meaning to our company because it was the first tractor that my dad learned to drive. It was the first tractor that we actually planted seed with.
Sonny is the president of Beck's Hybrids, the largest family-owned seed company in the U.S. This F20 played a key role in the celebration of the company's 75th anniversary. It's a day Sonny will never forget.
I parked it in the shed and said, when I retire, I'll restore it. Well, my kids knew that probably wasn't going to happen, and so they surprised me on the 75th anniversary of our company, the Beck Hybrid company. Totally surprised me with presenting the tractor all restored up like I would have wanted to do sometime, and so it was kind of a neat experience for me and for them. Thank you very much.
I think for me the most, I guess, fun part was the surprise. That we were able to keep it a surprise for my dad, who we don't keep too many surprises from.
As good as the F20 looks today, it was in desperate need of some tender, loving care.
It had been stored in the hog barn for years, and then eventually moved over to another property away from the main plant, and so it hadn't gotten much attention. And so obviously it was dusty and rusty, and tires were flat, and obviously stripping down, taking off the old parts and restoring the paint and so forth. And it exceeded my expectations when we went down to pick it up, and they had it covered up. And so as they started to unveil the tractor, it's like, wow, this looks really nice.
During Sonny's childhood, his father put an overdrive gear into the F20, doubling the speed from 4 to 8 miles per hour. The extra speed sure made this Farmall fun to drive, but the brakes are what allowed for easy control.
This F20 has a unique feature of making it easier for me as a 5-year-old or a 6 or 7-year-old to drive this tractor, in that it had automatic braking. As you turn the tires, and let's say you're turning them this way, this lever here is connected to the cable, and this cable then pulls on the brake. And you see the brake, it automatically puts the brake on. So as you turned, it would automatically brake it, made it easier for a youngster to drive the tractor. So it was a pretty neat feature that was very helpful to me.
Driving this smooth handling tractor is easy enough for a child, but the hand crank is best left in experienced hands.
We didn't have automatic starters on these tractors in those days, and so this was a crank that you started the tractor with. And when you went to crank it over, you wanted to make sure that you had your thumb on top, because if you had your thumb underneath, and when it would occasionally backfire, it would come back and just take your thumb and hurt for a good while. So you learn quickly to always keep your thumb on the other side of the tractor, of this crank.
Many tractors have passed through the family business during Sonny's lifetime, but now his first Farmall is better than new.
Sitting up here several years later reminds me a lot of those younger days when I was driving it through a gate. My grandfather had opened the gate and said, "Okay, drive it through." And so you always remember the first time you rode a bicycle or the first time you drove something like this. And later on, even as we got newer and more refined tractors, you always remember, and you kind of relish the times that you had on the first time you did something.